Okay, so what I wanted to do here is I wanted to explain a little bit about how the torso adds power to the freestyle stroke. Now, this is what's called sledgehammer freestyle. There's three major styles of freestyle, which would be the common, the sledgehammer, and the windmill. And this is sledgehammer freestyle. So you can see how this arm is in what we call B1, is forward and down here. Okay. And then you have this one over here, which is forward and up, which is called B2. So B stands for beam, right? This is one of the major beams of the stroke, like a beam in a house. And this is beam 2, also known as B2, right? Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this torso, or this shoulder here, right? And the shoulder rack is going to rotate downward like this, right? And that's going to drive force. It's going to lead this arm that's moving forward. Right? It's going to lead that. So let's go ahead and we're going to clear this out. And we start to see that happen. See that arm starting to move down now. That shoulder right here is starting to kind of pull downward. Right? It's going like that, down and in. So if it does that, that's going to drive this arm here in that direction. Right? You see it gaining a relationship with the pressure field right here. That's why it's important that the hand doesn't just go straight forward, because water has a property that if you push on it, it tends to push back. And right where you push on it and it pushes back, you get an increase in pressure called a field of pressure or pressure field. So that's what's happening while we're moving forward and down instead of moving just straight forward. You can see this torso rotating downward here, right? It's kind of taking this pathway here. See that? And driving it forward. And that's where you're getting what we call momentum going this direction. Right? That's not exactly, but right, it's going in this direction. And in addition, you're getting that relationship with that pressure field right there. Whoops. Right there. Okay. And so and then you're getting the power, which is usually purple. And so I don't have that color in here, but the power is coming from this sweep down motion, like, whoops, that sweeping down motion that goes on there. Okay, so that's why you want to go from with your torso, you want to go, or your shoulder, you want to go from up to down in that direction, and then drive that forward. Now, on the other side, right, when you're pulling, we're going to kind of move that forward. And I see him riding along because he drove that force forward with the momentum, and he's going to be pushing off on the other arm, pushing off the pressure field, and that'll show here. So let's watch now. He's getting onto the front of that pressure field here. Watch the shoulder motion right here. See how it's moving forward like that, reaching. It doesn't want to pull the pressure field just back towards the avatar. It wants to work with the water by kind of going out to it instead of just dragging, staying here and saying, hey, you come to me, which we don't want, right? We want to work with that water. And so it's going out to it and reaching around it and gaining this relationship. So it's mutually working together. Now watch this shoulder here and watch how it reaches forward into it, right? Allowing for this to kind of reach around more, giving the pressure field time so that it can develop a relationship right here. Right there. Whoops. Put that in there again. Right there, it's building that relationship with the pressure field even stronger. Right? And so that's important that it's understanding that it needs to have this. So this section is done relatively slowly compared to what's going to happen in here where we're starting to now press back. You can see that shoulder starting to move into it, really dragging in this shoulder right here. And kind of dragging into that. Got it. And then once you have that, right, you see that shoulder now working, coming back up. Right? So it's moving from down low, which is right here, right? It's moving from this area. And now you can see it kind of moving up this pathway. Right? And that's what's causing the power for the propulsion going in this direction. And that propulsion is an opposing force, whereas the momentum was a force that's pulling it at simultaneously in the same direction, right? So the if you're trying to create and generate what we call momentum, it's you move something forward and it has a parallel force that goes with it, right? So it drags you forward. In propulsion, you're pushing backwards and the body is moving forward, right? So there you go. That's an opposing force versus a parallel force. Now, watch the shoulder work here from low to high. That's where you're getting the primary power, all right? Power is a force that's assisting another force, and it's normally colored purple. As you can see, this pathway here is colored purple, right? And it goes up, 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 and the more rotation we get up to a certain point, the more power that's driven in here. Now, it's very important when you're causing this power that you have a good relationship with the pressure field. If your relationship with the pressure field, back to where we were here, if that relationship somehow dissolves or isn't strong enough, right, then the power that's being generated here isn't going to do much because the hand just slips back. It doesn't have anything to push off of. It doesn't have anything to leverage against. You need to leverage against these pressure fields. This is what's called a quad. You can see here you've got the different layers. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. 3 and 4. Keeps doing that. Sorry about that. There we go. Try again. Well, it's going to do that. It looks like, doesn't it? It's not helping me. Okay, there, 4, right? And this quad, right, has lots of support for this swimmer, and now the swimmer can push off of it. You can see that power going up with the shoulder, and the propulsion being generated by the arm. And it's very important that this hand, right in this area here, is keeping that relationship. Also very important that the torso, right, is matching well with what we call the bed. And the bed is the hydrodynamic object, right? So it's a pressure field basically that's supporting the swimmer's body. And then you can see up here, whoops, there's another one right in here. Can you see that one? And that one is what is called the cradle. And the cradle is supporting the head, and the bed is supporting the torso, right? And so that's what you're moving forward from. So this is what you're looking to do basically, is to drive yourself forward like that. What this does right here is a lot like what's called follow through. So you push back and up, a lot like if you're doing and you're hitting a baseball or playing tennis and you follow through. Okay, and so that's the way it works generally. Okay, let's take a look at it again. I'm going to let it kind of run through here. Right, you see how it pushes and then he drives, and right, and you should be kicking at that point once he gets into that glide or what's called ride position, and kick, kick, kick. I hope this helps. Now here I want to explain a little bit about the shoulder and what it's doing, again, to generate power and the location that it changes. Notice how we're back in this area, back here with the shoulder. Okay, now the shoulder is not only going to move in a downward direction, right? So it's not going to just move down. It's also going to be moving in a forward direction, right? So it's also passing through space this way. And so the general motion pattern comes down and moves forward like this. And that's a really important aspect of coming down again and moving forward like that, because it needs to pass through to provide a lot of forward, in this case, force, and then on the other side, going the other direction, it's going to go the opposite, right, when you're pulling backwards. And it needs to pass through space this way, these compartments, to deliver force. If this makes sense to you, it's going to deliver force in this direction. Okay, so it's coming down and sweeping forward. And if we watch the motion pattern, you can see it. It's going to come down, down, down. Let me clear this out. Right, comes down and sweeps forward. Down and forward. So we're going to get some distance. And one of the big things is how much distance can you get between how far it is back and how far it can move forward. What is that measurement, and does it accelerate as it goes faster? It goes faster, faster, faster as it moves forward like this. And that's what you're trying to get it to do, is to increase that speed as it drives down and forward. And then that will transfer to the arm because it's attached to the arm. So it's going to push that arm into an accelerated motion, which is extremely important. When you go on the other side, right, you can see it now starting to pull back. Now here it's in the slow portion of the acceleration, the torso, right, and the shoulder, specifically in the torso. So in this area, it's kind of in the slow portion, and now you start to see it pull back, and it's engaging. It's going to use the lat muscle to engage in that motion right there. That lat, right, it's right down the side here like this, right? So you're looking for that lat to contract and start to generate a lot of force. And then again, watch again where we're going to put a circle around this shoulder. And then we're going to go back over here. We're going to put another circle in this area. And you can see the difference between where it was, right, in the starting position, right, initiation point, and the termination point. And again, you're going to measure that distance between the two, right? And you're looking for, as they come back, to generate, right, accelerated force as it moves through those points. So that's very important that it does that. And with that, we're going to see an acceleration right through here and the driving of that body forward. Now we also want to look at the point where we're starting here and the point that we're ending, right? So we pull it forward like this, right? Coming down, 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 and the point that we're ending here, and we're looking from now, from here down to here, how far did it drop, right? So we're looking for that distance in between. And again, going the other way, we'd look at it, from the bottom to the top, how far did it go up here? And what is that distance? Because that's going to give you your compartments in which you can generate force. And this particular force is called power, which is why it's indicated in a purple, right, color. So purple for power here. And the idea is as it drives down through here, it kind of comes down through there, is to drive force, right, from this spot to that spot, and then out to the arm here. So a lot of things that the torso is doing, it is also impacting the other side. So as this shoulder drops, the other shoulder is being supported, right, and helped to come up. And so the torso helps, one shoulder helps the other as it rotates. And so you can get a lot of force for a very low cost because it doesn't take a lot of energy to do that, but you can get a whole lot of power from that motion.